Hey there, Diffuser fans. I'm the captain. We've got another great artist spotlight for you. Today, it's the great Karina Reichman from New York City. Karina says she likes to play bass and sing and jump around and laugh a lot. And we're all about that for sure. Matt Kiger from Diffuser and myself had Karina on the phone. We talked about the recent passing of Bob Weir, her relationship with Fish, and all the amazing collaborations that she's done.
The collabs that you've done have just been incredible, including, Mike Gordon from Fish and recently with MMJ, My Morning Jacket, which was incredible. I just wanted to ask you, to talk a little bit about a collaboration or two that really moved you or inspired you.
Oh, man. Well, those two would be a good place to start. My God. I mean, I've been so lucky over the years to play with, so many heroes of mine, and now, that become peers of mine. And it's always incredibly exciting and a learning experience for me to be able to just take in whatever, the greats who have come before me, can impart, it's just, I feel like a sponge, really. And to be in these people's orbits on stage or otherwise is always so insane. And yeah, I mean, the My Morning Jacket sort of, avalanche that's happened to me since, God, I opened for them a bunch in the summer of 2024. And I played with them then, and then followed them to another festival where they were my band was playing the same festival as they were, and they were like, hey, do you want to play with us again? And I was like, what? And then that continued into this last year, playing with them in October, both 2 nights at the Brooklyn Paramount. And it was just surreal, just because I grew up listening to them in such a profound way. I could see myself as a 10-year-old skateboarding around the Upper West Side with a green iPod mini, listening to One Big Holiday. And then to be, on stage and playing that with them or playing for, 30 minutes a night. And it's I think the most special thing in all of it is just, the spirit of the music being so open with all of these incredible people I've gotten to play with and be pals with and whatever. People are just really, I think, excited to share the spirit of the music, and I feel the same way. And I, as I get older, I'm like, wow, what is it? What is it that, and it's really just sort of this, it's a community, it's a communal vibe, it's a communal experience. And, we have the Great American Songbook, and we have just, when you're a player, you want to play and you want to share and you want to expand, and it's larger than all of us. And it's just a really, kind of incredible thing to be a part of in any small way. And every time I get to work with people who have come before me and that I've looked up to for years, it's just like, wow, these giants
incredible.
Are so inspiring. Yeah. Amen.
It's incredible. And certainly another week, another collab. And I know you're heading on the road soon, and you'll be with Pigeons and Pigeons playing ping pong. And I'm certain there'll be some collaborations going on there. But also, I noticed last night Bushwick's Dead, of course, in Brooklyn at the Brooklyn Bowl. I saw that you popped on stage there as well to pay a tribute to Bob Weir, God rest his soul. You were there last night, weren't you?
I was. It was all, obviously that's an insurmountable loss for everyone, whether they know it or not. It's an insurmountable loss for the world at large, and that all came together very quickly. I got a call about that on Sunday night. They were like, hey, we're doing this thing in Brooklyn on Tuesday, do you want to play a tune or two? And I was like, yeah, I'd love to. So that was incredibly special. What a crazy night at the Bowl. It was a free show, and God, it was rammed. It was insane. And everybody was, healing by the power of the music, and just kind of thinking about Bob and thinking about the legacy of the Grateful Dead songbook that'll, continue to be present in our lives through just everybody carrying it forward. I really fully believe that. And I think, they say that Bob wanted the Grateful Dead music to be around for 300 years, like a Beethoven or like a, a Bach or whatever. And I think it will persist, because the power of that songbook and the longevity of it already is astounding. And people like myself and people even younger than me, and we've all taken a real liking, and it's the cosmic fabric of our lives, that these songs. So that was a beautiful evening of music. I was very happy to get up there and play with those guys. They were amazing, by the way.
What does he mean to you? Maybe what breadcrumbs he leaves for you?
Oh my God! I mean, it's like, how much time do we have, right? Like it's insane what he's left behind, And to me, I mean, just that's, I'm seeing so many people posting their photos, with him and playing with him and everything, and that spirit of wanting to connect with other musicians and the next generation, and to just be open and kind of selfless, really, you know what I mean? And just so not full of yourself. And, Trey wrote that it doesn't seem like the bigness ever really got to him, and I think that's so beautiful. And I think it's amazing to have that kind of impact on American culture, global culture, and just be a guy wearing Birkenstocks, working out on the beach, and obsessed with playing music with other people. You know what I mean? It's just like, wow, like, yes, you know what I mean? And I want to do this till I'm old and gray too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just like one of those things where you're like, look at this guy. He lived a life of music, togetherness, community, and spreading just this insurmountable joy. And what is a greater gift? And in so many permutations too, and with a lot of loss around him, the loss of Jerry, of course, the last year, the loss of Phil. To lose both Phil and Bob in the last year is, it hits me really hard. It was really tough to lose Phil, and now this sort of demarcates. We're not going to call it the end of an era, because it's like I just said, 300 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
We got a long ways to go, but it sort of boggles the mind, and I do have a really hard time processing it. You know what I mean? It's just like, wow, what does that mean?
Yeah.
It's giant,
Yeah.
It's really crazy. But I think all those things, I mean, he has imparted so much to me, by virtue of just being who he is. It makes me want to be who I am, right? That guy was singular as fuck.
Yep.
Oh, can I say fuck on
You
this?
do whatever you
interview?
want. You do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Right. I think leaning into one singularity is the biggest gift that you can do, right? It's the biggest service to the world, and obviously, when people in the, millions latch on, that ain't so bad, but it's a beautiful thing that those guys were just, trying to have as much fun as humanly possible through music, and it ended up changing the world.
And when you go to see shows, you are having as much fun as everyone in that crowd. And I'm talking about Phish New Year's Run. I was at that New Year's Run. I've been seeing Phish for 30 years. And I noticed you go to a lot of live shows, and you were recently at Phish. And I'm curious, from your perspective, what are you experiencing? Are you experiencing that community and having as much fun, or are you looking at, Mike Gordon and looking at Trey and looking at those guys and thinking deeper about music and inspiration and all of that? Because it's certainly, you're like shining bright, and getting pictures with people in the audience and all of that. But what are you vibing with when you're at a Phish show?
Oh man, I mean, everything, and it's intense at this point, because I mean, I saw all four, which I haven't missed a Phish New Year's Run since I was a child in 2009. Like, this is like what I do. You know what I mean? And now it's entangled with all of my friendship with Trey, my friendship with Mike, all of all the years combined, they melt into a dream. It's just really fucking true. And it sounds corny, but fuck, man. I mean, I've been seeing the band. That was my 161st. Well, I've seen 161 Phish shows at this point. You know what I mean? So I'm no stranger to all of this. And this is just like, it's so entrenched now, and like it's what I do. You know what I mean? So I'm looking at them, and I'm just in awe of the pursuit of just continuation that these guys have. You know what I mean? It's a pursuit of like keeping it going. And that's, I look at Trey, who gets up every day so early and just writes music and writes music and writes music and just pushes it forward. And it's so inspiring. And, on every level, it's inspiring. It's so I'm both thinking like, wow, I'm in awe. This is a band that's been together over 40 years, at the top of their game, at the world's most famous arena for 4 nights. And I'm so lucky to be in their orbit at all, let alone, like, I can't even tell you what they've done for me. Like, it's mind-boggling to think of what they've actually concretely done for me. You know what I mean? And it's just like, holy shit. Like, since I was just a kid, friends with Trey's kids, going to these shows, and now I'm like a peer, of some variety. It's just like, wow. Like, so everything is going through my head. It's a very intense thing. It's a super intense thing. I'm just like in awe, and I am a huge fan. What can I tell you? I'm a huge fan of the music. I'm a huge fan of the culture. I'm happy to be there. I'm happy to be amongst it. I'm happy to have this insane, like, it's one of the only quote unquote traditions in my life. You know what I mean? Where at the end of the year, me and all my friends go in the back door at Madison Square Garden and see our favorite band at the world's most famous arena. Like, what on earth could be better than that? I have no idea. I really don't know what could be better than that. So it's
incredible.
Like, it's this never-ending kind of just, you're pinching yourself. You're pinching yourself that you're a small part of this world. You're pinching yourself that these heroes are your friends. You're pinching yourself that you get to hear music like that played, so honestly by 4 guys, 4 virtuosos who are, so in tune with each other and in tune with the spirit of the universe and in tune with silliness and fun. And, they do it for all of us, and they do it for them, and they do it for us. And it's a never-ending symbiotic feedback loop that makes everybody happy. And it's just incredible. So, I mean, I go there and I'm experiencing every amount of joy and awe and wonder that I was experiencing at 14, And it's just like, wow, I can't even, not to be so emo about it, but shit, dude, it's insane. It's insane to see Phish play. I fell into this world, and this world changed my life. This was it. This was, that's what the fucked up thing is, that's what every single person says. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is so not a unique experience of mine. This is a shared experience. So every single person is like, oh, and when they played Divided Sky, I met my wife, and she was standing there, and guess what? Her name is Axela. Can you believe that? And it was, or whatever. Like, everybody has some kismet crazy story about how this band, changed their world.
An amazing person and musician for sure. Karina Reichman, thank you for spending time with us here at Diffuser.